have this long-term vision of wanting to see Thailand a developed country. And therefore, we have been campaigning in a very quiet academic way that Thailand should leave the middle income trap, move forward to become high-income country. People like Thailand. We are fortunate because the Thai people are quite nice people. They're very friendly, our food are very nice.
We are honored to welcome Professor Dr. Kriengsak Chareonwongsak, President of the Institute for Future Studies for Development in Thailand, and also the President of a Nation Building Institute. Swadika. Welcome back to Thailand Today.
Thank you very much. A day just passed and now we're coming back together again.
Yeah. Okay, we still with Professor Dr. Kriengsak because there's a lot to know about it, because if once have someone in your country who trying to mold up the people, trying to make your country walking into the clear direction, a long-term direction, very rare, sir.
Thank you very much.
So tell me, because to continue with that, because we did talk about people, we did talk about investment on, but your opinion on the government's plan to the linkage between the economic corridor, EEC in Thailand with China's One Belt One Road initiative. Interesting.
Let me tell you about One Belt One Road.
Yes.
Many years ago, for the first time, I was part of a body and a committee called World Chinese Economic Forum. And then at that time, the Chinese leaders, I think it's the Deputy Prime Minister of China, who was part of our program in a meeting somewhere around the world. We have an annual meeting of this World Chinese Economic Summit, eventually we call Summit. The Chinese leadership announced OBOR, One Belt, One Road, for the first time. And we heard it first before anyone else in the entire world. And I was thinking, okay, this is wonderful. The Chinese, who are growing in the economy as the second largest economy of the world, will soon become the largest eventually. The big boy is pushing forward the ideas of One Belt, One Road, which is in a way a modern version of the old Silk Road, whether it's on land or by sea. Many years ago, Zheng He, admiral in the Chinese Navy, who have traveled the world in many different ports, that 600 years ago, linking the trade of China. Then we have all these old desert road, crossing the whole pass from China all the way to Central Asia, all the way to Europe. Those are the old Silk Road that make China prosperous. Trade always prosper any people involved. And therefore, China now resuming back its major role. And I was glad when Xi Jinping, the president, advocate this concept, pushing it forward. I remember one of our annual summit recently, when David Cameron still the prime minister before he resigned. There is a meeting between Xi Jinping visiting England, the UK at that time, and right after that we have our conference on World Chinese Economic Summit in London. I was there, been part of the leadership, part of the speaking force there, and I noticed that it picked up the interest of OBOR even in England. Australia interested in it, England. This year our conference will be in Hong Kong. And again, this whole concept, I'm sure the Chinese will again to highlight it. We have many leaders from around the world in this kind of conference, a lot of presidents, a lot of prime ministers, or former prime ministers, and so on, joining this conference. So OBOR is a major thing that Xi Jinping will have a legacy on. Therefore, in my opinion, the Chinese will push it fully, because like they honor Sun Yat-sen, Mao Zedong, Deng Xiaoping, the fourth one that they will put a picture up if OBOR successful, One Belt, One Road, would be Xi Jinping. So I think Xi Jinping legacy will lean on this concept, and it's a wise concept. China have come to a place where they need to extend itself outside their own countries. So I think OBOR is a serious effort. It's a consistent message come through China. It's being pushed all over the world, and others are receiving it warmly. Thailand should receive it warmly. And therefore, How could we do that? Let's link up. We are in a pathway where the Chinese, Zheng He, I told you 600 years ago, come around this area anyway. And China in the central part and the southern part of China need to come through Thailand to go down all the way to the south, all the way to Singapore. Linking the two oceans, Thailand is a key instrument in linking China, maybe half of China, which is harder to go to the east, through Shanghai or to Guangdong or Canton, but come all the way through to Myanmar, Thailand, all the way down. So Thailand is important. If we could do everything we could to link it up, including our Eastern Economic Corridor, not only that, but including, I would say OBOR could be beneficial mutually for China and for Thailand and other countries involved. I think we should be proactive in thinking of strategically how could we engage our internal policy economically with the Chinese global policy of OBOR. And by doing that, we benefit. It's a win-win situation.
And then Thailand, what chance that Thailand can move on into the new industry country, like we talk about new S-curve? New S-curve.
New S-curve. Let me put it this way. About 25 or more years ago, I wrote a book called The World 5.0. At that time, the world is at 3.0.
Okay.
And we have to go through 4.0, the fourth wave, before we go to the fifth wave. The fourth wave of 4.0 is basically a knowledge-based society, knowledge-based economy that depend on fresh knowledge discovered and implemented it through innovation with impact. And therefore, the whole concept is how do we have powerful research machine inside the university and outside the university, in the industry, in the government departments that do research, find ways to find our research, discover something tremendously path-breaking and fresh in those areas mentioned, and other areas that we are good at, and then implemented it all the way commercially, so that innovation produce value added, so that the country have enlarged pie, the size of economic pie is bigger, the growth is sustainable, this distribution is done properly, then Thailand will grow. By doing so. Therefore, I'm hopeful. But to get there, surely, the cream has to be allowed to do their work. The researcher, the university professors, those who are career researcher in the government departments, in the private sector research lab. But research have to be in every sphere. It's not only on the science and technology. It has to be in the area called fuzzy, the social science, the other kind of accompany research and need to go together so that it complete. So I'm hopeful that even that new S-curve that is being aspired for Thailand to be can be done if we're consistently pushing it and continually doctor the areas that we need reformed, we need to fix. Thailand still have some ways to go, but we could be there eventually if we do it right and consistently doing it without giving up. I think Thailand eventually will be a knowledge-based society.
Yeah. Well, let me come back with the last time that we talk about moving Thailand out of, or escape actually. I would love to use that because escape from the middle income trap to become a developed country. So what can you put the measurements on that again?
Okay, the way to measure high income country is that when the World Bank have drawn a approximate line that okay, if a country attain the GDP per capita or per head at the level about 12,000 plus US dollars per person per year, then you just reach the threshold of being high income country. Of course, the highest income country in the world today is almost 60,000 US dollars. So between 12,000 plus to 60,000, that's high income.
Yeah.
To get there, if anyone below that, you have middle income and also low income. The middle income have two portions, the upper middle and the lower middle. Thailand is an upper middle. And therefore we need a long way to get there, to go to to the high income level, but we can't get there because our friends who used to be at our level. Years ago, when I was studying overseas, in my high school time, I was in US, and I studied in 3 continents of the world, you know, in UK, in Australia, in America. A lot of those countries that used to be at our level have exceeded and surpassed us, like Singapore, like Korea. But today, they already attained that level for long years now. Thailand should really follow suit and quickly move forward. If they can do it, if we do it right, we too can attain that status. But it takes effort, I know, and it's not formidable. It can be done, and I hope we will be hopeful and we'll keep moving, keep pushing, and keep stimulating our people to think along that line.
But Professor, we have been talking, I know how pure-hearted you wanted to do and all that, and also the whole world seemed to look at Thailand at the moment as a country of readiness of many things. But there's a problem. Over many decades about corruption. So how will you stem out overall of this corruption?
Kun Kusuma, tell me one country that have no corruption.
Well, I'm talking about Thailand then.
Let's do
about Thailand.
Actually, most would have some. We are at the middle level. If you look by the corruption perception index, out of countries that are collecting the perception, hundreds and say almost 170, 80 countries or we are at the middle somewhere. Maybe our ranking is in the middle. We're not as good as we should be. We're not as bad as others have been. But I'm hopeful again. You know, I'm not here to try to give a rosy picture of Thailand, but I'm trying to say that, we have a huge problem with some of the people corrupting our system. And we are making effort at it. But if we keep doing it and doing the right way, I'm sure there's certain things we could fix. We could adjust our system so that we're not just going at it by trying to chase after those who are corrupt, but try to prevent and create a sound system where people don't need to corrupt to survive, or people don't feel the incentive to corrupt. They'll feel that it's not worthwhile corrupting. I think a good system needs to be created. And I'm part of it, and I would like to see a sound system set up so that corruption keep going down every year. And let's keep our finger crossed. One of these 5 days, we'll see Thailand keep being looked upon, perceived in a way which is again corruption going down, down, and down.
I'm asking this because people those who in foreign country again, that you may watch the TV and say that many of the uncovered of these many cases happening at the moment, which we never thought, you know, some cases we never, in back of our mind, never thought of this person or this particular group of people, you know, have been drawn out to the society to be in court at the moment. So this is a good sign.
Yes,
the Thai
our media is
to
quite
that.
free. In that sense, I'm thankful that they report it when incidents happen. But incidental happening doesn't mean it's everywhere fully. Therefore, we have to be careful between when you hear the news that are free countries saying that. There are countries who did it hush-hush and keep it underneath, under the carpet and never unearth it. But again, I'm not trying to defend Thailand, but I'm trying to say that, okay, we have it and we are open at it, and it's nice to know that we're open at it, and let's go after it, and let's go it in a way which is fair. Let's prosecute everybody who did wrong. I'm hoping that one of 5 days, Thailand will be looked upon and say, hey, Thailand is a place which is relatively free of corruption. And I like to see that. And I want to be part of that kind of effort together with many others, pushing it forward. Okay, let's have the consciousness of being a corruption-free country. Let's have a system that's conducive to not to be corrupt. And I think we are making effort. We are trying to do it that way. And hopefully, our encountering with foreigners who's surveying our corruption perception, we'll start seeing that we're getting better. The system will have to be better.
But go by the system. And I want to know, your curriculum also have a part in teaching
morality.
Morality
Was the basis of all this, and therefore one of the manifestation of good morality is that you're not corrupt, and therefore, and we in fact have session talk about that.
Oh, really?
Yes, we have the P. Sumed, Dr. Sumed Tanti Vechakun, the Secretary General of the King Rama IX Foundation called Chai Patana. He came and he spoke so well about morality, strategies, for nation building. And surely part of a major thing to show that we have good morality in nation building is that we're corruption free. And we have to avoid and try to fight corruption and make sure our people are not corrupt.
And this is the proof. I want to tell you all that this is the proof that there's a group of people or institute trying so hard to get rid of this corruption in this country, which is possible because if each one of us having hands get into it, it'll be done.
Let me tell you that many years ago when I was in the 70s, Hong Kong also a corrupt place. Singapore used to be a corrupt place before Lee Kuan Yew cleaned it up. If they can do it, why can't we do it? Let's do it. And let's make sure that we could be on top there somewhere too.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so we've been talking to many factions of everything, but so what urgent issues, both public and private sectors, that the country to achieve sustainable development?
There's many issues. Let me name a few.
Please.
One, we need to quickly develop our human resource that they're not only well educated in terms of formal education, but they really have skills, competency that they could be adapt to use in the modern world. The 21st century skills, the character quality suitable to be a competent person, the knowledge enough to be a knowledge-based society. So human resource is one key. Another is how to create a ecosystem that a proper country can move forward, like the legal part, the regulation, that we could cut down a lot of unnecessary discretionary decision of the civil authority, allow people to be more free, and let the regulation be conducive for the modern world rather than using ancient rules or law that have been created 100 years ago and still continue to apply in a world have changed. So we need to really axe all those unnecessarily legal proceedings and processes, make it streamlined, make it efficient, make it fair. So rule of law, that's very important. Infrastructure. I would say Thailand have certain part of infrastructure very good. Road is one of the most marvelous system in the region.
Exactly.
But we need rail, we need waterway, we need
new innovations.
Increase in all this infrastructure. You know, infrastructure in every way that have to be expand and have to be continually grow with the need. We also not only need infrastructure, we also need a lot of mindset that have changed to go with it. Sometimes you could have all these things, but the mindset doesn't change. So the Thai people have to be more international, global citizen as well as Thai citizen. We have to be able to play in the rule where the world accept, and we are moving that way. The mindset is very important. I know that I could name 10 other things, the categories of things we can do, but instead of naming it, I have written a book on it. It's an entire book. Therefore, those are interested can read and say, what are the things we need to do, we need to fix, we need to do this and that. But all these have to go at the same time. For leadership is very important. At the national level, when leadership understand the roadmap, the blueprints of how to get there, and executed it through various channels and pushing it along together. You can't just have certain things done and other things undone. If we do it right, I think we'll go on our way marvelously towards a developed country with high-income country.
We'll be listening to such an encouraging what you call mentally boosting up from Dr. Kriengsak. But so your conclusion on Thailand's future for following 20 years, we have 2020 at the moment, 20-year national strategy. So can you conclude that, please?
I have to be frank with you. I have written a book published 20 years ago about Thailand in 20 years that happened to be the deadline is this year. Therefore, I was 20 years before before my time, that Thailand should have vision for 20 years, 20 years ago.
20 years ago.
Now today we start having vision for the next 20 years, which I'm happy.
Okay,
I was asked upon to go and speak and commented on it at the National Legislative Assembly some months back, and I was happy that at least the ideas of 20 years strategies was adopted eventually after lagging behind for 20 years. But I'm hoping that in 20 years from now, I'll be 82. So I hope that I'll be able to see some of the success that is there. It's better late than never. And I'm glad that we have some ideas. It's the first time Thailand think in terms of long term. Long term doesn't mean we are dreaming airy fairy things that it doesn't allow us to be realistic about the present. But what I hope is what we do at the present, the immediate future, is in line with the intermediate future and the long future. 20 years is in a way, intermediate future. And we need to link that to the present. I hope by doing the right thing with long-term vision, we'll get better. And every country that do well need long-term vision. And we are hoping that by this time, we have it for the first time. 20 years vision. Congratulations to the present
We've been listening
government
for our country.
Doing
neighbor
that.
country should have for some, this is the first time Thailand having that. So, well, I have a minute for you actually, that you can invite the people to join, because such a program, such an institute to mold people.
You mean Nation Building
together,
Institute?
Yes, please.
Kun Kusuma, you should join quickly. Because we have a lot of applicants, our selection
I won't be
rate
selected.
is very low, and we are trying hard to get a good composition of people. When people are not selected for this batch, doesn't mean they're not good. It just means we have a lot of similar people
That
in the
means
same.
test before.
We would have to make sure we have diversity of composition. We even have one monk join us in class 1. We want to have a monk in each class. I'm trying to ask one of the highest authority in the Muslim authority in Thailand, Jula Rajamontri, to send one to join us at a high level of the Muslim. So I'm trying to get diversity of gender, age. We have people from younger to older, but most will be senior people, and various occupation, various kind of background. Diversity is the key. And we choose highest quality people from public sector, private sector, people sector. Of course, in the people sector, we have sometimes the educational sector, the media sector, and those who work in a foreign relation. So that's what we do. You may think it's hard to get in. Yes, we need recommendation, but it's not impossible. If you really want to build a nation, come and join us, write your application, look at our website, Nation Building Institute, you appear on the screen now, and we will choose those in the right composition. If you don't get in this batch, you get to the next batch, the batch after.
All right. So, well, do not miss the opportunity. This is a good time for you. Well, we have to end up our program by thank you so much to Professor Dr. Kriengsak Chareonwongsak, President of the Institute of Future Studies for Development in Thailand, and he also President of Nation Building Institute. So you have opportunity, do join it. Thank you so much
very
for
much,
being here.
Kusuma.
If at all, anything, please come back. And
Very
tell us.
happy to see you today.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Professor Dr. Kriengsak Chareonwongsak, thank you so much for sharing your time and your opinion on development directions for our country's future. Thank you for watching Thailand Today. I'm Kusuma, your Hope to see you again. Same place, same time. Swadika.